be here again. This is Samuel Ajayi. So I want to talk about something very important that has been going on. People have been having a lot of questions, especially since the election that took place in the United States, where Donald Trump won the election. All right, and a lot of people have been asking questions. So what happens now? Does it mean we cannot come in? Does it mean scholarship is gone? Blah blah blah. Let me start by introducing this to those who are not aware yet. What happened in Florida last year, and then I will sort of use that as an introduction and discuss this. Now, last year in the state of Florida, there was a new law that was passed in the House, and the law basically bans schools, university from recruiting from 7 countries. That means it's sort of an espionage law where they think some of these countries come and then they are stealing vital information from the United States. So stealing in quotes, acting like spies, blah blah blah. And then the countries are China, Iran, Venezuela, Russia, Cuba, Syria, and North Korea. And what that implied was that many professors could not, since last year, many professors could not recruit students from these countries. And usually in Florida, in fact, in many schools, the highest number of international students that you find on campus are Chinese, are from China. Okay, even in my department, you have students from Iran, you have students from Venezuela. I know students from China, I know students who are from Iran, Cuba, blah blah blah. And then what this new law did was that professors could not recruit from these countries again. They could not get international students from these countries again. In fact, I have a friend who is a professor who was looking to get a student. In fact, the student had contacted him, and then but the student is from one of these countries, and then he could not go ahead with that, and he had to look elsewhere to get a student. So this was passed last year, and then if you understand the political climate of Florida, you will know why such laws could easily pass. And then many schools in the United States currently are facing that issue. Many professors are facing that issue that they cannot recruit students from these countries. Now, that is what has happened in a state in the United States. It happened last year. The law was passed. I think the law started in July. So if we have to recruit, it has to be on a very extraordinary basis, and then lots of checks and the likes. But what happens when Trump comes in? Now, a lot of people have asked me that question. How does it affect us? How does it affect me? Now, what will happen is this: we'll have to look at what happened in the first tenure. What did he do when he came in? Of course, there was a ban on some countries, and then some countries, for some it was temporary and the likes, and it was lifted later. But what you should know is that when there is a ban on any country, that means international students from those countries will not be able to come in as they should, okay, because there will always be a flag somewhere that will trigger a law somewhere from the schools. It will trigger all these things. So it's a possibility that, going by what we experienced the first time, is a possibility that there may be a ban on some countries. It's a possibility. What has happened in Florida is just a taste of what could happen. Okay, it's just an idea of what could happen. It's a possibility because the mindset, the political temperature, the political climate in Florida is similar to that of Trump policies and the likes. It's the same party basically. But what does it mean for many people? The highest number of those who watch this are from Nigeria. What does it mean for a Nigerian? It's not necessarily a bad thing for a Nigerian. In fact, I would say it can be sort of an opportunity for someone who is a Nigerian, because okay, for Florida, for example, now what many schools in Florida are doing now is to try and look for students now, is to try to look for a way to recruit students. Many schools are doing that actively, because before now, the highest, in fact, where I'm reading this from, the Florida Atlantic University, the highest number of students, international students in Florida Atlantic University as of February 24th, February this year, 2024, the Iran and China are among the top 10 countries represented by international students. And from what I see on campus here at FSU, I most likely will say the number one will be either China or India. China most likely, okay, for international students. Now, what countries are doing now, or what schools in Florida, for example, are doing now, is to spread their tentacles, to start looking for students from other countries. Because number one, those who are paying tuition, it will go away, they would lose that revenue. Undergraduates that come in and all those things, they will lose that revenue. So they are looking to other countries. Now it's an opportunity for those who are from countries who are not in the list, for example, for them to show up. It's an opportunity for them to get recruited. Nigeria, for example, it's an opportunity because there is always a need for international students. That is a constant. Of course, that will mean increase in students from India too, because India has a lot of students that are trying to apply. So when Trump resumes in office, will that necessarily? We can't predict what will come in, right? But we can make a we can't be sure what will come, but we can make a prediction and say, okay, maybe so and so countries. I mean, at least from the countries we see here, that Florida banned, that they made a lot to ban, so to speak, in code. You could see, I will read it again for those who are just joining in. They placed a ban on China, Iran, Venezuela, Russia, Cuba, Syria, and North Korea. In fact, let me read it as they said. On May 2nd, 2023, the Florida House and Senate unanimously passed a bill to prohibiting partnership, including recruitment programs between state university and non-US citizens residing in any of the 7 designated countries of concern. Okay, so that is what has happened in Florida. Now, if that happens on a national level, where, like we seen during the first term, there was a ban on some countries, temporary ban for some and likes, it will mean schools will shift attention to other countries. If that is what happened, it will mean like schools in Florida are doing currently, shifting attention to other countries. Schools in Florida are shifting attention to Europe, Africa, trying to recruit, trying to see. In fact, I know of a school that they're probably going to sign MOUs with some schools in Africa. That's a plan. If I know of another school or another department in a school that what they are going to do is to get students to help with recruitment and all those things. So this is what is actually going on for schools in Florida now. Now imagine this going on as a whole nationally. It would mean, now this is not to say that that's what Trump will do when it comes like ban students from these countries, or ban non-US citizens from this country from partnering with US institutions or coming to the US to study. But let's say just a glimpse of what happened during the first term, or let's say something like that happens. Nigeria, I'm pretty sure Nigeria will not or should not be on the list. That will mean opportunity for those who are not on the list. Okay, for Nigerians, hopefully that we will not be on the list. Even if that happens, that will be an opportunity, because if they can't get students from China, from North Korea, of course North Korea they are not getting from there anyway, from China, from Iran, which we used to have many of Chinese, Iranians, and the like, from Cuba. We have those who have passed through even my department, who are from these nationalities, but they can't recruit from there again. Now, if this is happening nationally or nationwide, that would mean a Nigerian will have an opportunity. In fact, let me use this opportunity to say to those who are Nigerians, or to those who are followers and then are not from any of these countries, that this means you can apply to Florida, to any school in Florida currently now, and your chance as an international student is higher than it was before if you are not from any of these countries. And remember, I mentioned the fact that China is one of those countries where you have lots of international students come to US to study every time. Now that there is a ban on them in Florida, it's an opportunity for those who are not from those countries to get in. Okay, I know a country that is currently benefiting since the law went out last year. India has a lot of international students, and they have a lot of very good candidates too. Okay, and India has benefited a lot from this too. Pakistan is benefiting. So, and there's an opportunity for Nigerian to benefit. If you are good, try Florida. Throw your application into Florida. At least Nigeria is not on the list. Now, let's even say this happens nationally, nationwide. So far, Nigeria is not on the list. Um, that will be an opportunity for someone who is in Nigeria or any country that will not be on the list. Okay, so this is a sort of an implication. It doesn't mean that studying in the US will stop. It doesn't mean that moving to the US will stop, blah blah blah. It simply means that if there is a ban on some countries, because schools will still need to fulfill their quota, the number of students they are recruiting, they will need to retain their funding, they will need to retain their grants, all these NSF grants, all these grants from NIH, from different funding agencies. They need students to work to drive it. Okay, and they need good students who can do this work. So it doesn't mean that schools will now say, oh, since we can't recruit from China again, since we can't recruit from Cuba again, Venezuela, from Iran again, then we stop the research or we stop. No professor will want to stop the research. They will need more students, they will need students, so they will recruit actively from other countries. They will recruit actively from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Europe, Greece, from Turkey, from England, from all these things. So it becomes a big competition. And of course, those from all those other countries will go elsewhere. So it's like a shift eventually. But what I believe it doesn't automatically mean scholarships in the US ceases. It simply means there will be a redistribution of students. And how do you take advantage of this as a Nigerian? Just position yourself. Okay, just position yourself. For example, I've mentioned Florida now. There is a ban on some of these countries in Florida currently. In fact, a professor was saying in this news article I was reading, the professor was lamenting from Florida Atlantic University because a large percentage of their students are from Iran and China. But now they can't recruit from those countries again. They will have to look to other countries. In fact, let me see what, because again, one can see it, one can look at the laws in different ways. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just talking about how you can position yourself as a Nigerian or as an international student who is not from the countries listed. So let me see. Okay, so someone was saying that I think that admitting students in non-critical fields of study does not influence our national security, blah 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 blah. A professor there was saying, let me see. Okay, so let me first read this side. It said many of FAU's doctoral program extend assistantship offers to prospective students in the spring for entry in the fall of the same year. Some international students from the countries of concern, I've listed those 7 countries, from the countries of concerns accepted offers in spring 2023 and enrolled for fall 2023. And remember, the law took effect last year in May. These students approved before the legislation underwent FAU screening of foreign influence process and are able to continue their assistantships at FAU. However, the university had to rescind any offers international students accepted from these countries for spring 2024. So some offers that they gave out, this university, they gave out some offers to students from those countries, and they were meant to start in spring 2024. So what this student school had to do for Florida Atlantic University was to rescind that offer. They took the offer away from there. It's a loss for everyone in this kind of situation. It's a loss for the school, for the department, for the students themselves, because there are other candidates they would have gone with. Let's say a Nigerian probably applied in that situation. They chose someone from that other country or from those other countries. But because of the law, they could not bring them to the United States. They had to take away the offer from them. Okay. All right. So this is another concern. Someone said FAU faculty are also concerned that restricting employment opportunities for these students at universities may dissuade them from choosing Florida as their destination. Typically, students arriving from abroad are limited to employment within the campus due to their student visa. They may opt for another state without university funding and face substantially higher out of state tuition. In fact, someone said, they said, if you are preventing international students from being graduate teaching assistants, you are mostly preventing them from coming. Okay, you are mostly preventing them from coming. So it's a big issue now in Florida, in many schools in Florida. It's a big issue. But what happens if this comes nationally? It may be a blessing, it may be a curse in disguise, depending on which country you are from. And just hope that a ban does not come nationally. I think that's what we hope for. But even if it comes, just hope that the ban will not affect your own country. Because if it affects your country, it means you won't be able to come. Definitely, you won't be able to study in the United States. But if it does not affect your country and it affects countries that have a high influx of international students, it may be a blessing in disguise for your own country. Okay, okay, okay. All right. So let me know what you think. If you have any question for me, I can do that. I'm trying to pick up a point from the article. No, there's a part in the article that I wanted to read out. Okay, yeah, this is the part. Good. So this is the part in the article. A professor was saying, they said, Florida should accept brilliant students who come from these countries. Do not punish them for the actions of their government. That's the part I wanted to read out. It says they should take, the professor was arguing that they should take brilliant students from these countries and not punish them for the actions of their countries. But that is what it is. That is the situation as of today. International students from Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, China, Iran, which other country? Two more countries cannot come to Florida, and then get the assistantship, get the graduate assistantship, and the like. So that is the update I just said I should give. So we keep our fingers crossed, but again, I always advise people choose Florida. Choose United States. It's a very good place to study. I'm enjoying the benefits. It's something very good. Let me see any question. All right, it seems there's no question. If there's no question for me, I think this would be a good place to end the live session. All right, I want to say thank you for joining in today. Okay, wait, there's a question, so let me answer the question. Okay, so Ephraim, you're asking, it's been I had to talk about a WhatsApp group a long time ago. So the WhatsApp group. So I actually have some people in the WhatsApp group. Those who went, it was a sort of rigorous selection process, and we've had meetings. We have meetings. It's sort of a mentorship group. So we have a group, but I won't say it's open generally. Okay, I won't say it's open generally to the public, at least not for now. But if it should be open, I'll let you know definitely. There's another question here. Let me see this. Okay, so they are saying blissful marriage. If a school is requesting the GRE, will my application be reviewed? You mean if you don't submit the GRE, is that what you are saying, blissful marriage? If a school is requesting the GRE, will my application be reviewed? If you submit the GRE, definitely they will review your application. But if a school is requesting for the GRE as compulsory, and then if they say, okay, so you said you don't have the GRE. If the school says it is compulsory and you submit without your GRE, they most likely will flag your application as incomplete. Okay, they most likely will flag your application as incomplete. So I would say if you don't have a GRE and the school has an application fee, don't waste your application fee on the school. Look for another school. That's what I would tell you. That's the advice I would give you. I would say look for another school. So if the school has application fee and they are requesting for GRE and you don't have a GRE, look for another school so that you don't waste your application fee. I think that's what I would say to that. Yeah, that's what I would say to that. All right. Thank you so much for joining in. So please share this video with people, those who have talked about Trump's emergency, presidency, and the likes. What will happen? Let them know this. I don't know if this is will calm them down or make them more agitated. I don't know, depending on their country. But share it with people. Let them know what to expect. It can be a blessing in disguise for some countries. It can be, of course, outright cause, outright stumbling block, outright blockade for some other country, especially though if there is a ban and some countries are on the list, it will be something else for them. All right, thank you guys for joining in today. I appreciate you so much. Please give it a like. Just give it a like. The more you like it, the more it um, propagates this to other people to watch, the more the what do you call it now gets better so other people can watch. So please give it a like, just give it a thumbs up, give it a love, share with others. It's gonna be worth it for others to watch it too. All right, thank you so much for joining in. God bless you real good. Have a nice time.